Hello. This vidcast is actually going to be a three-part vidcast covering the Clone Wars, the article by Stock and Fukuyama. It's first important to understand that this article wasn't originally conceived as an article, but as a series of posts made on a bioethics discussion board between Stock and Fukuyama. So Stock will post, Fukuyama will respond, Stock will post again, responding to Fukuyama, and then Fukuyama will again come in. And this will go back and forth 3 times. And so we're going to divide this up into 3 different segments so we can cover each of the posts and response one section at a time. Stock is very much pro-genetic engineering and pro-cloning. Fukuyama is a bit more hesitant about the subject. And so, here we begin with Stock. Stock's stance is more or less a go ahead and alter. He says that genetic research and genetic cloning have very real benefits in the foreseeable future. There are things that we can do to improve the quality of our lives. If we decide to have an outright ban based on really uncertain fears, then what we're going to do is we're going to cause real victims. First of all, what's going to happen is if these things are made illegal, then we're going to drive that research underground. If we drive the research underground, then we will not be able to see the early results. We won't know how the testing is going, and it's going to be affecting a very slim few rather than the society as a whole. Really, if we do not have any sort of ban, then it will be more affordable to the broader populace. If we do have a ban, then we're only providing it to the rich, really, because we're not going to be able to stomp this out, not entirely. What you're going to do is you're going to enable the rich to be able to go to places where they can do it underground, they can do it offshore, they can do it in other countries where it is not regulated. So the rich will receive the medical benefits, and the poor will continue as we have for generations. If we have strict regulation of these technologies, then we have real victims. Those who suffer from Alzheimer's, those who suffer from diabetes, those that suffer from genetically preventable diseases suffer. What we should do is go ahead and allow the engineering and allow the alteration. Fukuyama reads this and he jumps in. And he says that Stock really makes 2 large points, 2 broad points. First is that rules are unnecessary as long as genetic choices are made by parents and not the state. Because remember, Stock said that parents should be able to have the right to choose this for their children, and the government should not have that ability to decide that. And Fukuyama says, you know, the government should be able to make these choices. He says that there are several grounds for not letting parents make genetic choices. One example that he gives is that of Asian countries. Some of them have not very much regulation concerning gender screening and abortion, but that country really does highly prize having a male child. So the gender selection has created far more men than they have women. Now, not a big deal right now when you're just dealing with your children, but look at the vast societal level. In 20, 30, 80 years, we're going to have a major deficiency of women, and genetic diversity requires that we have women to even bear children at the very least. Now, he also says that there's some ambiguity as to what constitutes improvement. What may be an improvement in one person's eyes may be perhaps just an improvement in another person's eyes. This constitutes an optional enhancement. He raises the example of what happens if an African American decides that he has suffered from too much racism, and that what he wants to do is to modify his child to have a lighter skin tone. Is that really an enhancement? Is that really an improvement? And the second point that he raises, that Stock raises, is that laws are going to be ineffective anyway. And Fukuyama's response to that is, well, we regulate biomedicine all the time. Procedures like germline engineering, that is, that level of engineering that affects the sex cells, anything that we can even pass on to the next generation, will not have immediate results. Sometimes it can be 2, 3, 4 generations until we see all of the results of any germline engineering. Also, because they are so complex, they require so much more regulation, not only because of the complexity, but also because we have no experience with them in the past. Stock seems to think that it would do an injustice to slow down the engineering, and really, we slow down medical progress all the time. Now, we could, he says, follow the Nazis' example and just push progress for the sake of progress, and people will get hurt in the way, but progress is made. But that's not a favorable idea to Fukuyama. He says that ban on procedures such as reproductive cloning is based on safety and ethical considerations. The overall effect of any ban won't be undermined if only a few rich and elite manage to get access when the rest are carefully regulated.